everyone. First off, happy spring equinox I was observing. And with that in mind, with the release of Project Hail Mary, a thoughtful but also quite touching science fiction film, which is quite unconventional, whole succeeding expectations both critically and commercially. I am personally going to be waiting until I read the book to watch it, which I guess not the only one who had that idea, given how every library in my county has it checked out currently. So while I'm waiting for that, if anyone else is seeing this weekend, and feel free to let me know what you think. I seriously considering seeing Hoppers again this weekend, and with that in mind, I will talk about another one which also involves a bunch of intelligent people and things going awry when they're trying to prevent the heat of the universe. That being the 2007 film Sunshine, which is directed by Danny Boyle as one of his many collaborations with screenwriter Alex Garland, and stars Cillian Murphy, Rose Byrne, Cliff Curtis, Chris Evans, and Togi Sanada, Bennett Wong, and Michelle Yeoh nephew. So, a lot of people who have been involved with other high-profile films, multiple of which actually have been nominated for and won awards. So, let's begin. The movie takes place in the year 2057, our own not-too-distant future, if you will, a potential point for the heat death of the universe, and with it, it's any living thing that relies on the sun, basically every living thing that relies on it, in some way, will perish with it. Which again leaves humanity with but two options: resign themselves to their fate, or put everything into one mission to drop an experimental payload to help kickstart the sun. All the while, there is a mystery on their research vessel and the crew who becoming picked off one by one, all of which you would expect does not go smoothly. Though not very many people saw this film when it first came out in theaters in 2007, only taking in slightly under its $40 million budget worldwide. Those who did see it, both audience and critically, did seem to enjoy it. Hello. And is now still ill to this day considered ranked among some of Boyle's best films, which is a sentiment I personally agree with. I've seen it more than once, and if you haven't, I definitely recommend it. It's definitely a unique take on the concept, and I also enjoy how they put so much focus on the characters and how other crew involved actually managed to make this actually quite believable. John Murphy's work on the score does a great job of setting the mood. It took the work of both both highly acclaimed cinematographer Alwyn Kuchler and production designer Mark Tildesley. Apologies in the mispronunciation there. And even though not every science fiction film grosses a quote-unquote small country's gross domestic product, but they can still make an impact in their own way. Even if I may not be here for every single screenplay Garland's ever written, I do give him, and whether or not he's working with Danny, credit where it's due. I was just saying, fudge what the market's doing, we still want to make something that's what we want to make the way we want to make it, And I really think that's a mindset that has a potential or to go the distance far further than people or making in misguided comments about something they haven't seen and all whether their own offerings are likely not to do who so well. I mean, so as I continue putting together my entertainment calendar for this year, I'm just gonna say, hey, take in what you want, and let people make their own judgment about that. If, I'm not even gonna hold against you if you end up spending this Independence Day weekend seeing Minions 3 or whatever, something like that. So, yeah. As an aside, I am this close to finally finishing the rough draft of my full review of Tropical Shine. It's taken a bit longer than I would have liked, but given my current pace, I should be able to meet my goal of also doing the the final draft by and having that out by next week, which means I will not be able to check out the newest arc that just dropped either. On top of the other stuff that I actually come out within the last week that I haven't yet, like the second season of live action One Piece event or JoJo finally doing Steel Ball Run. And likewise, there's more and more evidence mounting that Horizons will be ending sooner than later, or even with the internal delay of having Winds and Waves, which honestly, I'm on the people who is actually ready for this incarnation to end, and whatever they come with next will take center stage after that. Bottom line, Sunshine, is definitely a movie I recommend checking out. So as per usual, when I talk about a movie that's underperformed the box office that I enjoy and was what it received, I always make sure to include at least one in my favorites each year. Here, so if you have seen this movie, that's great. If you haven't, I recommend giving it a watch. I didn't see anywhere where it's currently streaming for free, but it is easily available to rent on most premium services. So that'll be all for now. I'll see you all again soon. Take care, everyone.